because he has something that he's showing people through you, through the people around you. So it's better to be careful and humble yourself. So but here's the point. God had showed them something else powerful before. He showed King Nebuchadnezzar his power before. And even though he saw it, it's sometimes it's human nature to see something powerful that God did and then turn their backs on it, or over time maybe perhaps lose their, or even immediately depending on the person, they may lose their respect for it. They may wipe it out their mind and let it play a part in their mind and be arrogant as this they never saw these powerful signs. But let's go over something. So before King Nebuchadnezzar was humbled by becoming like a beast in the field for a very long length of time, he saw something else that Almighty God did. So let's go to Daniel chapter 3, verse 1, World English Bible. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits and its width 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent together people to sent together the local governors, the deputies, and the governors, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the local governors, the deputies, and the governors, the judges, and the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together to the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then the herald cried out loud, "To you it is commanded, peoples, nations, and languages, that whenever you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. Whoever doesn't fall down and worship shall be cast in the middle of a burning a burning fiery furnace the same hour." So whoever didn't uh, kneel down and worship, they would be cast into a burning fiery furnace the same hour. Therefore, at that time, when all the peoples heard the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, all the peoples, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Therefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came near and brought accusation against the Jews. Uh-oh. They answered Nebuchadnezzar the king, "O king, live forever. You, O king, have made a decree that every man who hears the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoever doesn't fall down and worship shall be cast into the middle of the fiery burning furnace." And then, now listen, there are certain Jews or Israelites whom you have appointed over the affairs of the province of Babylon: Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not respected you. They don't serve your gods and don't worship the golden image which you have set up. But so the Israelites, we have been given the commandments, and to the commandments that Almighty God gave to our ancestors. The first one, "Thou shalt worship no other gods besides me." We were to only worship Almighty God Yahweh. And the second, "You shall not worship like idols and things like that. You shall not bow down to them. You shall not make idols." And so those right there, that right there is breaking the first of the commandments, perhaps the most serious commandments that got the Israelites in the most trouble over and over again. Serving gods that's not theirs, bowing down to other nations' God. So so Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were not the Israelite boys. Here they trouble again. These Israelites. So they weren't having it. So they were brave. They said, we gonna stand up for our God Yahweh. Then 13. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in rage and fury, commanded that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be brought. These men were brought before the king. Nebuchadnezzar answered them, "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you don't serve my gods and that you don't worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if you are ready, whenever you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, to fall down and worship the image which I have made, good. But if you don't worship, you shall be cast the same hour into the middle of a burning fiery furnace. Who is that God who will deliver you out of my hands?" So he said, okay, you don't, so you better fall down and worship. You going into that furnace. And who gonna help you? You think your God can help you? That's what he's saying. Not knowing now. See, they already knew that Almighty God Yahweh. They already knew that he could. So they had faith that God could help them. So Shadrach, verse 16, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered the king, Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If it happens, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us. Do you hear that strength, that bravery? He says, if it happens, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. They were bold and stood up for Yahweh. No doubt that many other occasions they wouldn't have spoken boldly like that. They had no reason to. But for their God, Yahweh, they would not disrespect him. Okay, but if not, let it be known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image which you have set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury, and the form of his appearance was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Who are these Jews to go against me? Who do they think they are? That's not in the Bible. That's me saying that. He spoke and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was usually heated. He commanded certain mighty men who were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their pants, their tunics, and their mantles, and their other clothes, and were cast into the middle of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the fire furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire killed those men who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Now this he made this fire hot, 7 times hotter than the normal fire. And it was so hot that the people who threw the Israelite boys into the furnace, it killed them. It was so hot. It killed them. It was a death sentence just to throw them in there. So they were in the middle of this thing. These 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the middle of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste. He spoke and said to his counselors, "Didn't we cast 3 men bound into the middle of the fire?" He answered, "Look, I see 4 men loose, walking in the middle of the fire, and they are unharmed. They are unharmed. The appearance of the fourth is like a son of the gods. They saw an angel. They saw a spirit in there. They were perplexed." Then Nebuchadnezzar came to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace. He spoke and said, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you are servants of the Most High God. Come out and come here." Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the middle of the fire. The local governors and the important people, they looked at them. They saw that the fire had no power over their bodies. The hair of their head wasn't even singed. Their pants weren't changed. The smell of fire wasn't even on them. Nebuchadnezzar spoke and said, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and delivered his servants who trusted in him and have changed the king's word and have yielded their bodies." So, so the Jews, the Israelite boys, the hair of their head wasn't singed. The pants weren't changed. The smell of fire wasn't even on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar said, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and delivered his servants who trusted in him." So they and so they won't worship anybody but their God. And he made a decree that every people, nation, and language speak, if they speak anything evil against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, will be cut in pieces, their house will be made a dunghill, because there is no other God able to deliver this. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were promoted in the province of Babylon. So they found favor in the king's eyes, and he saw the power of Almighty God Yahweh.